Welcome to episode 14 of the Science of Advertising Show, the show where we talk all things neuroscience, advertising, and effective communication. The show where we disclose the advertising secrets that brands use to influence and persuade human behavior. If you're loving the show, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button below so you can stay up to date with all our content. Remember, you can also find the audio version of all of our shows on all major podcasting platforms. On today's show, we have Dr. Jared Cooney-Horvath, the preeminent expert in the field of educational neuroscience with a focus on memory formation, learning, and attention. And your host, Jonathan Rowley. Dr. J, welcome to the show.
I've decided the audience wants to look at my dog more than me. So there she goes. Never mind. We're going to lose her. Hello, everybody. I'm still here as well. It is lovely to see you guys again. I'm ready for some advertising and some science.
And your dog has far better hair than you do.
I know. So I had to put on the hat because it was looking really weird today.
The audience appreciates it. Now, interesting show today. So we got vaccines. This is the topic of the world right now. It's been rolled out in the US for the last couple of weeks in UK. So we're going to have a look at some ads where governments are trying to increase the uptake of vaccines. So we're going to look at the UK version and the Australian version and who's going to win this battle. Then we got classic creatives along the lines of safety, pun intended. And some,
what was the pun? Wait, what was the pun?
The lines.
The lines. I was thinking safety was the pun, but no, the lines of safety. Okay, I got you.
And some brilliant lyrical work there. So some dumb ways to die, Metro Trains. Thanks for coming. But first up, we have Dr. J's man crush. The one, the only, Thor.
You know, I got that. Who's the vet? Chris
Brown.
He's like the poor man's version of the Hemsworth. And today we got the real deal.
Is he your other man crush?
Well, he's like a Hemsworth wannabe. Like he's got the jaw. He's close. And
he's nowhere near it. He's a big Nancy boy.
Well, fair enough. But we got the real deal today.
We got the real deal. So this is Chris Hemsworth promoting his app. So Centr, and this is his first ad that's really going out to market. So, and this is where we're going to kick off. So we'll cut to Jake now. Jake, can you roll the latest work from Centr?
I'll be honest, I only got this app in the first place because, well, it's Chris Hemsworth. Obviously, he's not the one doing the workouts, but it's his team, so it's like basically the same thing. I know what you mean. I feel closer to Chris already. I just wanted to be healthier overall. I mean, I don't want to be like Chris because that's weird, but you put us in a cage together, I'll tear his little face off. Boom. All in the food, right, Dan?
Look how strong Mama is. She pretends to be a bear sometimes with her friend called Ashley. Hey, Ashley.
Took me a while to come around to the whole mindfulness part. Can't build muscle just by breathing, am I right? Or can you? Hey, don't tell Chris. I think I might like Luke better. Best part is, just being able to keep up with the kids.
Come on, Mum, push up. Don't give up.
Chris Hemsworth's actually pretty average. Yeah, it's his team that's awesome.
Yeah!
Centr, Chris Hemsworth. He's everywhere. Ladies, dogs, children, everything in between. Now, this has me really torn.
Mm-hmm.
Really torn. A sensational job of getting attention and holding attention for 55 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So look, the one thing I love about attention is when you see an idea that you haven't seen before, so it's new, and especially coupled with, a celebrity or something that's very trusted, like this really had me, and it had me all the way through. But in terms of being effective, I have a big question mark, if not a big red cross. It's done and set up beautifully, and then it's just text on screen and a little logo. It tells you nothing about why you should use it. It tells you how easy it is to use. It's just a Chris Hemsworth production. And how great are we using it CGI and putting Chris Hemsworth, and how funny is it? Like, I love Chris Hemsworth and I love him even more after watching this. But will I download the app? Do I have any more interest in using the app? And lucky, I know what the app is, because I would suggest anyone that actually saw that has no fucking idea what the app is.
You're talking with one of them right now. So I didn't know until you had said it a minute ago. I didn't know Chris Hemsworth was in any way at all involved in this product as an owner. I didn't know it was an app. I didn't know what in God's green earth it was, other than Chris Hemsworth is a pretty funny guy and there's a reason why he's famous. Great.
So I have my sneaking suspicions that someone in Chris Hemsworth's circle is a creative, whatever he is, and he had an idea. Hey, Chris, and it's probably on some research. The research being, hey, Chris, there's a lot of people not using your app because the reason they're using your app is because they're trying to perv on you, but they're not getting you. They're getting your, team. And the other reason is people don't want to be the man mountain that you are. So they think that it's not aligned in terms of the app. So I think they've tried to debunk that through this creative execution. But they've got wrapped up in their own little world, and it doesn't relate to consumer at all.
In order to debunk something, you have to assume that the majority of people will think that thing. In this instance, I believe the vast majority of human beings won't have any clue about any of this stuff, meaning your first ad out of the gate can't be something that's debunking the 10 people you work closely with. It's got to be an ad that hits the majority of the market. In this case, the majority of the market don't know what Centr is, don't even know what is going on here. In which case, what you've left us with is exactly as you said, a very creative piece, which is really cool, wrapped up in its own awesomeness, well-produced, beautiful, funny, and absolutely nothing will be done in terms of driving business, driving customers, except for people who now want to go perv on Chris Hemsworth. So what was the function here?
Yeah, I agree. But the question I had, and this is for my own sense of amusement, but I'm really keen. Like, I'm just going through the attention economy again.
Yeah.
And in the attention economy, it suggests there are 6 different types of attention. So there was, aversive, captive, back of mind, front of mind, voluntary, and attractive. I would love your view on that topic and your thoughts, because there's a part of me that goes, it makes sense. There's another part that goes, attention is attention, and you've either got it or you don't. And they're trying to make it more complicated to try and potentially sell their own product. You've either got attention or you don't. Can you help? I'd love your expert view on it.
Yeah, so let's boil down attention, and you're actually spot on with this. So attention, by and large, comes in 2 different flavors. So you've got 2 networks. You've got what's called your ventral and you've got your dorsal. One of those networks, and we're just going to simplify it, one of those is focused attention. This is where you get to move your spotlight around the world and determine what it is you're going to focus on. Hey, you know what? I'm really into watching basketball. I've got my spotlight on the screen and I'm watching people play basketball. I'm really into watching car races or seeing that kid cross the street. Boom. The other is what we're going to call your subconscious attention. And believe it or not, it is stronger than your conscious attention, but very rarely is it going to kick in. So what its entire job is to do is safety, is while you're focusing on basketball, your other attention network is paying attention to everything you're not. And the idea being that if anything crazy happens, like a snarling bear comes running up or a big bang happens, that attention network can take over and force you to look or attend to wherever that noise came from. So you've got your focused attention and you've got your subconscious attention. The subconscious attention will only kick in largely if there's something that the brain considers threatening or uncertain about to happen. Otherwise, it's just you and your focused attention. What determines what you attend to? Your goals. So when this book comes out and says there are 6 forms of attention, no, what they're talking about is 6 different ways to get you to set your filter or your spotlight onto a certain topic. But by no means are those different attention. Attention is attention is attention is attention. You've got one primary attention, 2 networks that can control it, and then a myriad of ways you can get to trying people to set their goals to meaningfully continue to attend to what you're doing. So yeah, it's interesting. So I wouldn't say those 6 things are wrong. They're wrong in the sense that they're not different forms of attention. There's 6 ways to try and get people to want to attend. So aversion, if I show something gross, you might choose to attend to it. You might choose not to. If you surprise me with that aversion, like I'm watching an ad with a kid, and then 10 seconds in, suddenly there's just a bloody mess of a bear. I don't have a choice. I'm going to pay attention to that. But after the trick is when the subconscious network kicks in, it's a really quick thing. And at that moment, you then get to choose what to do with it. So my subconscious network will say, "Ooh, bloody mess." But that's it. You've got about 0.5 of a second till now I'm back in charge and I can go, "Bloody mess, ew," turn away, or "Bloody mess, let me continue to look." So at the end of the day, it's just you. It's just you and your one attention network.
So you go triune brain or three brains, so reptilian, limbic system, neocortex as such, oversimplified.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is your system one as such is looking at your subconscious attention or things that your spotlight's not on.
Yeah.
And then system two is very much focused, your focused attention. What are you actually paying attention to? In terms of memory, my question's around if you want memory formation or you want action.
Yeah.
It needs to be focused attention rather than subconscious. All subconscious does is bring it to your spotlight and then memory formation forms through that.
Well, yay and nay. So anytime your secondary, so your subconscious attention network kicks in and forces you to pay attention to something, in that moment, you have a chance of forming a memory for that specific moment. The idea being is that the mechanism is if something threatening is happening, not only do you need to pay attention to it, but you need to remember it in case it ever happens again. So the mechanism, anytime, so if I'm watching a kid and then there's a bloody mess, chances are I'm going to remember that bloody mess really well. The trick is that's all I'm going to remember. The memory that comes with those attentional switches from your subconscious network are really tied to the moment that the switch occurs. So whatever's happening 10 seconds before, whatever's happening 10 seconds after, that's not being formed in the memory. All I'm remembering is that day that bloody thing appeared on my screen. I'm not going to remember the ad. I'm not going to remember why. I'm not going to remember when or where. So you can get deep attention from that subconscious network, or deep memories from that subconscious network. It's just really rapid. If you want actual memory for the kind of usable memories like we talk about for ads, that's going to be your focused attention. You've got to do something that holds me and gets me thinking about building memories through my recall process of whatever it is you want me to remember.
Because it's really interesting, you like the attention economy, and it's all about you've got to get attention. And there's so much of this dialogue coming out, and especially in the creative world, that it's like 90% of the job is just them just trying to get consumers' attention. But like this ad, like you remember Chris Hemsworth in a whole heap of weird scenarios, and it was entertaining. There was a lot of prediction breaks, humor, everything else in between. But You're never going to remember the app or anything else in between. It's just the attention they got. So it's Chris Hemsworth on a funny body.
And that's good rule of thumb. You remember only that which you are thinking about. When I'm watching Chris Hemsworth do a billion things, I'm thinking about how funny Chris Hemsworth is and what he's going to do next. Now he's on a yoga body. Ha ha ha. So my memory for this exchange is going to be that thing I was thinking about, not what you want me to think about. You sneak in your brand product. I don't care. If I'm not paying it, if that's not where my attention is, that's not what I'm thinking about. It's not where my memory sits. So you've got to find a way. Don't just grab attention. People grab your attention all the time. Watch this. That clap is just got your attention. You're not going to remember anything about it. It doesn't matter. Those subconscious shifts, 99% of them don't matter. They grab your attention and you're right back to where you were before. So don't rely on just getting attention as being meaningful. Anyone can do that. How do you sustain attention in the realm of what you want people to be remembering? How does the brand become the attention getter and sustain that brand through that attention grab? And in this instance, if Chris Hemsworth was the product, it would have been a stellar ad. Unfortunately, he's not the product. He even makes it clear at the end, you're not going to get me. In which case, why am I paying attention to you for the next 60 seconds? Let me pay attention to the thing you want me to remember.
I love what you said then, because that was my key takeaway. The whole ad is about you're not going to get me. You're going to get my team. You're going to get this. And it makes me not want, because I'm like, if I want the app, I want Chris Hemsworth's body. I want his outcome and I want to see him doing whatever it is. Yeah. In this ad, you could have gone social validation. You could have gone, Sally started using her app 3 months ago. This was her before. This is her after. What an amazing outcome thanks to our team. Like Chris Hemsworth could have facilitated that. Nowhere near as creative, but you're going, wow, Do you know that's social validation? You've also got distinction bias, like a before and after, that you're showing the results that you're going to deliver. You've got product preference. Show me exactly how the app works. How easy it to log in? What am I going to get each day? And you only need to spend 7 minutes on a workout. Or give me something that makes some intrigue to go to a next step.
So wait a second. Is when he says you get my team, he means you get my physical training team?
Correct.
Oh, yet again, I thought he meant like your marketing team. And like, if you're struggling with your business, you can get I didn't even, so it's exercise?
It's exercise. It's a fitness app.
Why don't you say any of this stuff?
See,
they never said, like, now that you've mentioned that, I get the jokes a little bit more. Like, okay, the yoga and the meditation was because there's more to exercise than meditation. I didn't understand okay. This is
why it's like they're living in their bubble of this is why I'm like, I can see them sitting around dinner. There's a creative director there. Hey, Chris, I've seen your app, but you're not even on the app, and you need to really tell the audience that you're not on the app and your team's really driving it and how amazing it is. And I've got this idea. We're going to put your head on a yoga instructor and a child. And like, that's really cool. And he's sitting there going, oh, that sounds awesome. But they're living in their own little bubble and ecosystem. And even within it, there's all these inside jokes about you like Luke more than Chris and all the rest of it. But for anyone that's not familiar with it, and I only know because I think Luke's very funny and I follow him on social media, and if you're not in that world and you're not understanding the dynamic, it just goes straight over your head and you're just like, none of it makes any sense.
That's the echo chamber problem. Is I bet they don't recognize that the world isn't with them right now. Is their small little echo chamber on social media of their 1,000 people that comment, this all makes sense. But for the 99.9% of us who don't know what the hell is happening, what did you just do? I didn't even know he had an app. I don't care. So think about this. So if the only other reason you put him in is because he is your sell point. Why would I choose your app over other people's app? Totally. It's because your people have worked with Chris Hemsworth. Cool. In which case you use Chris Hemsworth at the front and he introduces you to his team. Here's my yoga guy. Here's my this guy. Here's my this guy. Do you think I was strong? Do you think I'm big? Do you think I'm fit? Congratulations. You now have access to my 6 guys. Oh. Now they do the rest of the fucking work. Bring him in only at the beginning as a pressure if you think you need as a point of differentiation, but you don't build the entire campaign about him.
I love it. But then you can't have a really expensive CGI platform and make it quite quirky and all the rest of it. But yeah, I'm
not going to buy a new car if I don't make all that money off of my marketing.
But when you look at marketing and you're looking at what is the objective, if it's looking to talk to the people in his ecosystem, I'm in it. I am less likely to use the app now after seeing that ad than wanting to use it more. So it's had the opposite effect, whereas there's a whole market that has never heard of the app. Communicate to them exactly why they should use it. And it's not about saying you don't get Chris Hemsworth, you get my team. No one even knows. So, mate, I'll leave it there, but I'd say they've done a brilliant job of putting out a new idea that has never been seen before, which is Chris Hemsworth on a range of different bodies, which really holds your attention. And I love seeing new ideas like that. But it's the same old 55 seconds of worrying about having attention, but you've done nothing with it.
Yeah, bingo. We should get like a sound effect or something that's like splat. So that's our rating for that commercial.
So, Chris, if you're watching, I love you. I do have a man crush on you. No, I don't really, but I've got a lot of respect for you. But, mate, that was porridge. Sack your team. You need a new team because that's not going to get you money in the door.
And you know who you should hire? Little old me. Let me tell you about marketing. I don't know anything about marketing.
Dr. J. Dr. J could run his own fitness app. I'd love to see that.
I'm just going to have to Google things. How do I sell stuff?
How do I sell stuff? Let's change gears. Let's get into COVID. Now, big, interesting topic. Australian government has dropped $21 million on advertising over the next, say, 6 weeks. A lot of it's going into TV and video. Mm-hmm. And the UK, they've got some significant challenges. They look like they're coming out of lockdown, hopefully, around the 8th of March. And this is kind of, as Boris says, this is their one road to freedom. So let's have a look at the 2 different strategies Australia have got and the UK have got to build trust in vaccines. Jake, let's have a look at Australia and then we'll have a look at the UK.
Elton John. Audition, take 1.
My name is Elton John.
Cut there. Little less showbiz, Elton.
My name is Elton John.
Bit more showbiz.
My name is Elton John.
Let's go for your Michael Caine impression. Just let's see what it's like.
My name is Elton John.
Beautiful. Cut there.
The more people in society that get vaccinated, the more chance there is of eradicating the national COVID pandemic. It's really important to know that the vaccines have all been through and met the necessary safety and quality standards.
So this is the bit where you're going to have the vaccine now, Elton. So
Right.
just kind of pretend that you're having the vaccine from a nurse.
Oh,
What was that, Elton?
that was me acting.
Okay, let's cut there.
And as you can see, I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thanks, Elton. We'll let you know.
Oh, well, at this short notice, you won't find anyone bigger.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Michael Caine. I've just had a vaccine for COVID. It didn't hurt. Not many people know that.
And cut there. Marvellous. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Sir Michael. Claire, let the little fella know he didn't get the job.
Everyone in Australia will have access to COVID-19 vaccines. Australia has purchased more than enough vaccines for everyone. But first, each vaccine must get the tick of approval from Australia's health regulators. All up, Australia has purchased around 140 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to be able to quickly and effectively deliver the vaccines to everyone in Australia. Each vaccine is rigorously tested to meet the standards of our world-leading regulator, the Therapeutic Goods Administration, or TGA. The TGA reviews clinical trial data and results for assessment of potential COVID-19 vaccines. Now that our first vaccine has been approved, it will be made available to those most at risk. They include health, aged and disability care workers, aged and disability care residents, and hotel quarantine workers. Once more supplies are available, the vaccines will be rolled out to all Australians in batches throughout this year. 2 doses will be needed per person to offer the best protection. The vaccines will be an important part of our fight against COVID-19, helping to prevent death and serious illness. Despite this, the approval will not be rushed. In the meantime, we all need to continue to be COVID safe by practicing good hygiene, physical distancing, and getting tested. To learn more, visit health.gov.au.
So there we have it. Australia v UK. I think there is a very clear winner.
Do you?
And I think one is atrocious.
Wait, don't. I think I can guess what you're going to say, but let me lay something out here first. Why I love this is my favorite compare the pair we've done yet, because it perfectly illustrates the complete and utter difference in strategy 2 different countries have used over the last year, how they've completely approached this entire process differently. And I think the last year of thought, of effort, of what we've gone through, of what everyone's gone through, is perfectly reflected in how they came out in these ads. So from Australia, what you have is a key focus on expertise. I am an expert, trust me. I know what's what, you're safe, trust me. And so it's a deference to people in power, which has been our strategy all along. I am in charge. Here is the health minister. We are going to make decisions. Everyone is going to follow. The UK, on the other hand, is saying, okay, wait a second. We actually have to appeal to people. We can't just browbeat them, and they haven't tried that. The one thing they haven't been doing is saying, we're experts. We know better than you. They've been trying to play it loose a little bit fast, and this ad comes out saying, cool, we're going to continue to play it loose and fast. We're going to try and inspire you. We're going to try and intrigue you. We're going to try and get you on board with these actors and get you liking it, get you laughing and going, you know what? If they're doing it, I'm going to do it too. Now, which of these strategies, without going into too much politics, because I clearly favor one over the other, and I don't know if it's obvious to you all, but I hate the way we've handled things down here. My entire career is based on stop trying to defer to expertise. Once you defer to expertise, you turn off more people than you impress. When I say, why should you listen to me? Because I am a neuroscientist. Anyone who was already listening to me goes, sweet, more validation. Anyone who was on the fence goes, screw you, dude. Who gives a shit? And that's the Australian problem. All we try and do is convince you that we know better than you, when the truth is, you're not even bringing me on the ride anymore. Now you're just dictating to me like I'm a child. But the joke is 60 to 70% of Australians still respond to that. So what we might be seeing, whereas we're seeing two very different approaches, we might also be seeing two different cultures. And the fact that this might actually work in Australia has shown to have worked in the last year, even though personally I hate it. I promise you it wouldn't work in the UK. And the UK method of here's some funny actors come bring it on would not work here. I promise you people would take to Twitter and say, how dare you make light of COVID and the vaccine? This is serious. And so what we're looking at, in my opinion, there is a very clear winner, but that winner is contextual. The winner is only going to work in one spot. The winner is not going to work in the other one's country. And what we're seeing is compare the pair where we're really seeing a cultural difference. And I don't think you can get over that fact. There's no winner in that sense. It's winner, where, and win. And at that point, I bet they both win in their unique markets.
Very, very interesting. I don't disagree with anything you just mentioned. And I'll give the preface that I actually don't think either of these are great, but one is much better than the other.
Yeah. Okay, which one do you think is better? Dun, 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 dun. Now we get the drum roll.
Oh, UK 100%.
Okay, yeah.
There was no question in my mind. The
Yeah.
UK, like they took them on the journey. There's fear and there's doubt. And if you've go back to your numbers, because I think they're pretty much bang on. Let's go 60, max 70% of the market are living in, they're petrified still to this day that they're going to die.
Yeah.
And coronavirus is going to take them out. They will do anything just to try and get some level of safety. They don't care. They will listen to anyone. Yes, because they're petrified. You've got another 30, 40% of the market that's not. They're just like, hang on, there's like a 99.7% success rate, and especially if you're in these age groups. I'm not so sure. And there's question marks there. And if you're looking at any sales process, if you don't dig into why and you handle it well, rather than just browbeat, listen to me, I'm the expert, I know better, when clearly there's already doubt, you just get repulsion. People go in the other direction. They're just like, mate, you're a dickhead. I don't want to listen to you. If anything, I'm consolidating my own theories around what's going on.
Yeah, you're building a bigger wall. You're
giving
me more fodder.
There's division, and division is not healthy. And again, you go to their numbers, if they want, 85 to 95% uptake of this to try and get herd immunity, not the way around it, because you still, like, really, you want to be talking to the 30 or 40%. They're the one.
Yeah.
You've got 60% of the market. So they'll take it. They'll do it already. They're already there. I need to engage the 30 or 40%.
I'd love to flip it to see if the UK, if it's the opposite, is that, whereas here we got, say, 60 to 70% are looking for somebody to take control. And we need, yes, experts. Thank you. I'm so scared. I'm going to take everything. I wonder if you go to the UK, if it's not flipped, where it's only 30 to 40% are scared, and the 60 to 70% are people who are like, screw it, let us out. In which case their ad needs to take a different tact, which is, but you're right, but who are they speaking to then? If the 60 to 70% in the UK aren't going to take it, here, you're right. Here's 60 to 70% are guaranteed to take it. They're so scared. They're an absolute lock-in, shoe-in. They're lined up already intense. It's the 30% you got to get. How do you get them? Not by using the same strategy you use us.
And that's the objective. So let's break it down. Let's have a look at, we'll start with the UK. So what's the rollout throughout the globe that we're seeing? It's frontline workers and it's the elderly, the most vulnerable. What did the UK do very well? They've got two of the most well-known celebrities in the UK known, trusted, I like you, I trust you, I'll follow your lead. The fact that they're even in the ad, you've got the associated, oh, okay, and they've soft around the topic. Like you're actually getting warm towards the idea of vaccines and they're at least having the conversation around it. So they're talking to the immediate urgent need right now, which is we need that cohort. So anyone in the cohort that's got questions, that's who it's targeted at, and they've executed it very well. So celebrity anchor, they've gone with a bit of comedy approach and it's quite soft and it's not this hard hitting. You've got to go and get vaccinated. Australia, they've gone what we'd call a promise proof. So you want to get attention first, because again, if you don't have attention, you can't do anything with it. What's your promise? And then you prove it. What they've done, they've tried to have these experts. I have never seen them before in my life, so they're not experts. They've got
They're wearing white lab coats. They must be scientists.
But this is the whole thing that they've got wrong, is they've got 3 or 4 different experts just with their name under it. I'm like, is that an actor? Who is that? I've got no idea. Do I even trust you? If they were to go through their story of, I've been working with infectious disease for 40 years. I've seen it all. I've worked on this and this and this. And if we don't get, like there needs to be some sort of call to arms of why we need to get behind it if you're going down this expert frame. And I'm not saying the expert frame is the right way to talk to the 30 or 40%, but the way they've executed the strategy of trusted advisor is horrible. It's horrible.
Well, there's no trusted advisor. There's just father figure, which isn't a nice father figure. There's just a stepfather figure who's a bit of a dick because he married your mom and he doesn't really want to be with you. It's just this, listen to me, trust me, do what I tell you to do. Well, cool. Exactly as you said, 70% of people have been doing that for a year. You're fine. They're going to do fine. It's the 30% who you're struggling with, who you've now just alienated even more by saying, I know better than you. You don't know better than me. You simply don't. And you've given me no reason to trust you. You've given me no reason to believe you in that.
Yeah, like unless they start opening up the conversation and start addressing some of the concerns that these individuals have through conversation, you're not going to get there. And I think this is the biggest challenge the government's going to have. I think, yes, you're going to get early uptake and you're going to get 50%, 60% of the country that's going to go. What happens post that? I'm really interested, but this ad is a million miles off the pace. You need to really have a good hard look at what you're going to market with, because it's not going to connect.
And you thought, is this the right time where it's like, look, we're in an unprecedented time where we've got a virus which we haven't seen the likes of in a long time. We've never had a vaccine before for this type of virus. Is the argument, we know better, we're good? Is that really the right argument? And this is why what I mean when I say you don't know any better than us, what I mean is nobody knows. We're all in the dark on this. So why, Dan Andrews, I should listen to you versus Steve McGregor down the street, who's an electrician? You both have about the same amount of experience when it comes to this stuff. So what are we doing here? We need you need to have a better conversation that at least acknowledges, hey, this is all crazy. We hope this is going to work. And if we just want to get back to normal, let's just make this as easy and seamless as is humanly possible. Not, y'all are wrong. Y'all need to do what we do. Get out of here. We're going to have another shutdown because one person had a sniffle. Come on. This country's handling it so weird, so strangely compared to everywhere else where they're like, yeah, we're kind of we're building this plane while we're flying it. And that is the true way to do this.
Yeah, it's interesting because even like the herd mentality, like if there's some sort of index, like we need 85% of people in the community to take it, it needs to be, hey, this is a bit untested and it's unproven. All the insights that we're getting through at the moment, it's looking amazing and it's looking really positive. Do you know what I mean? Like it nearly needs, like the biggest problem Australia has right now, we haven't had COVID at all. It's a blank canvas. And everything we're seeing with the vaccine at the moment is you can still catch COVID with the vaccine, so it's still going to spread. So Australians fucking hate being locked down. Australians, if you want to stop being locked down, we're going to need the vaccine. It's like option A, option B. Like it's unproven, it's untested, but everything they're saying at the moment, it's looking amazing. Let's get behind it because we don't want to be locked down for the next 5 years. And I reckon if you go to the message with you're going to be locked down for 5 years, you will see 90% of the country go, fuck that. I'll risk whatever it is because there's no way I'm going to be trapped with my kids for the next 5 years in my home.
That's your ad. As much as I hate to say it, that is your ad right there. As you say, look, We've been locked down. This will continue until we get to this stage. You won't be able to travel overseas. You won't be able to go here. And it's for no other reason than that's the tack we've taken. If you want out, this is what we have to do. Just say it. Just say it. Don't beat around the bush. Don't pussyfoot. Tell it like it is. I actually think that would have been a harsh ad, but I actually think it would have been a highly effective ad.
So pain, pleasure. So you've introduced a high level of pain that you've got leverage. And now what's the pleasure? The pleasure is this is going to get you your freedom. What's your pain? Well, we're staring down the barrel of 5 years of pulse lockdowns. And especially if we don't have over 85%. And it's all the fringe people. So we may not get the full 30 or 40%, but we're probably going to get half of them, if not more. And you're much closer to getting to your number.
You tell me I have to do it because some guy that I work with tells me I have to do it. The guy that I see at lunch, I'm like, dude, you're an idiot. I wouldn't trust you with my feet. I wouldn't follow you to the end of the driveway, let alone, but I'm not going to do it. You tell me, by the way, you're not going to be getting to Italy or anywhere out of this country till 2024, unless we get all this locked down. And New Zealand is starting their vaccine passports. So it's not even a myth. You are going to have to prove that you're vaccinated if you want to get out of this place. Well, congratulations. I'll be the first in line to say, sweet, sign me up. It's the only, that's it. Find what does your audience need. The scared people don't need anything. They just need to know when it's available, where, and how to sign up. The rest of us, you need to convince us.
So I'm really intrigued if they do introduce more of that. But look, clear winner. Again, I don't think either are great, but UK definitely smashed Australia. No surprises. But horrible work from the Australian government and a massive waste of money. So brings us to, Dr. J, sorry, I forgot. Who did you think won that battle?
Oh yeah, there was no question. It was the UK by a country mile. The Australian one looks like a PBS ad that you would have seen from 1970 before they knew what advertising was like. They're like, let's just film some guy, put on the camera. Hey, should we add an additional light? Yeah, that could be good. This is what I love about when the government does something, it's like 20 years dated before it even comes out. It's the weirdest thing. They spent
over $20 million on media, and this probably cost them. I hope they didn't spend more than $100,000 on production and talent. Should have been more like
I could have filmed this on my iPhone for free in the last 3 weeks. I hope they didn't spend any money on production.
But whoever built this ad has no idea how to influence and persuade, let alone connect with an audience. It is literally like anyway, we'll move on. Let's have a look at another ad that actually genuinely got some traction, which is a really tricky topic, very curly topic. How do you actually get traction in safety around trains and trams? Metro Trains, Dumb Ways to Die. Over to you, Jake.
It's time for a blast from the past.
Set fire to your hair, poke a stick at a grizzly bear, eat medicine that's out of date, use your private parts as piranha bait. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Get your toast out with a fork, do your own electrical work, teach yourself how to fly, eat a 2-week-old unrefrigerated pie. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Invite a psycho killer inside, scratch a drug dealer's brand new ride. Take your helmet off in outer space, use a clothes dryer as a hiding place. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Keep a rattlesnake as a pet, sell both your kidneys on the internet. Eat a tube of super glue What's this red button do? Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dress up like a moose during hunting season. Disturb a nest of wasps for no good reason. Stand on the edge of a train station platform. Drive around the boom gates at a level crossing. Run across the tracks between the platforms. They may not rhyme, but they're quite possibly the dumbest ways to die. The dumbest ways to die. The dumbest ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Be safe around trains. A message from Metro.
Now, I just want to share a story on this ad because it came into my world. I was in Melbourne. I flew back down to Melbourne in January. I was staying in a hotel, just out of the city. I was going for like a 10K run in the morning. It's like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. It was still dark. And I remember a tram went and I ran just behind the tram and there was another tram that was not too far away from me. And it wasn't close, but it was still like more than enough distance. But as soon as that happened, I was sitting there like, Jono, that would have been a dumb way to die.
Way to die.
And right then I'm like, wow, that is powerful.
How long? Because that was like 6, 7 years ago, and it still popped out.
At least 5. And as soon as I was on tracks or rail, so tram, it was right out the front of Crown.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just saw the tram. Like it wasn't even a near miss or anything like that. It was like a million miles away, but it was like tram, me crossing, dumb ways to die. Don't do that because there's no other cars. It would have been very embarrassing. And then it got this song just started singing in my own head and it started bouncing around. And then I watched it again and I watched it and I loved it and I had a smile and I was even giggling to myself as I was watching it, which is embarrassing, but great ad, cut through, memorable, so simple. You've never heard anything like it before. You've never seen anything like it before, but it's so simple.
And it could have bombed miserably because anytime you do music and comedy, you're walking a very fine line because some people do music comedy brilliantly, some do it horribly, and you're like, oh, geez. Within the first lyric, you knew this one is going to be good because the ways they chose to die were genuinely, they were funny and they were surprising enough that you're like, I want to know what the next one is. Oh, that's a good one. I want to know what and there's never a bad one. In the entire thing, you keep waiting for there to be a clunker, but there just wasn't. And with that, you then have this really catchy tune, a simple ass earworm. And so they just had this perfect storm. The music was great. The examples were great. So that when they get to the message at the end, this is one of the few examples I've seen where the message is, they didn't bring it in till the very end. And I was okay with that because by the time the message came in, I was so deeply involved that I was there. It wasn't like a blip at the end or like what the hell was just that? When they got to the lyrics about the train stuff and they say, this is the stupidest way to die. I'm like, I'm with you. I got you. You win this battle. Congratulations. Everything about this was simple, yet flawlessly executed. Could have gone off the rails if the guitar was wrong, if the chords were wrong, if one of the things was a clunker, but it all just was seamlessly put together.
But you got like a really boring topic, like rail line safety. I don't think it gets any more boring than that. Mm-hmm. And you could easily do like quite a graphic ad, someone getting hit or trained or anything else like that. But they've taken in a completely different approach. And I don't think we see enough of it now of taking acoustic encoding or song and telling quite an entertaining story with it.
Yeah.
You go back through the 70s and 80s, it was all jingles, it was all song, it was all melody, which humans are wired that way. Whereas now it's not. It's like get a big celebrity, do something that's trying to be funny, and you remember the celebrity or whatever goes on, but you don't remember the brand or anything else with it. So I do think there's definitely a place for more acoustic encoding.
Well, who's the other boating, camping, fishing? It's BCEF and fun. They got it. They nailed it. And it's
Crushed
one
it.
of the few ads that continues to do acoustic encoding. And my God, it's always in your head. You can't get that. As soon as you start humming it, there it is again. So it's a powerful memory technique. If you can get someone to sing a song, they're doing your job for you. As soon as they start humming or singing a song, what they're doing is they're recalling the melody, they're recalling the words, they're building a deeper memory. It's not about you convincing them anymore. You've already won this battle.
So that is an interesting point. So when you're talking about memory formation, there's memory that goes in, but what actually strengthens it? So there's memory that goes in, but it's every time you retrieve that memory.
That's where it gets deep. There's memories are being formed all the time from input. Input memories are very weak. They're good for recognition. Like if later you saw something that you once saw, you might be like, oh, I recognize that. But you want deep memories. Once it's in there, they've got to recall it. They've got to bring that idea back out. And that's what, when you step into Kohl's and you go down, down, prices get down. Every time I step into Kohl's, I do it myself. You just ran an ad in my head without having to pay a cent. And that ad was more effective than any other ad because I did all the work.
But I think that's the power of acoustic encoding is it's not just the input, it's the retrieval. And every time you retrieve it or sing the jingle, you're building that brand salience to that particular category or whatever they own in terms of assets. So
I'm going to say whoever's doing this is doing it well because beyond the dumb ways to die, they now have just a picture of a rhino on a skateboard, which the first time I saw it, I thought that's pretty stupid and heavy-handed. But the more I think about it, just the easier, like every time I see Instagram, I think of a damn rhino on a skateboard now. It's such a silly juxtaposition, but just a great way to say, hey, these things are damn heavy. Get out of the way of things. If you're standing in front of it, you're going to die. And it's akin to Dumb Ways to Die in that it's illustrative, it's cutesy in that it's got a little animal, it's got a little skateboard. There's nothing literal about it, but it hits the right note.
Can I jump into taglines?
Yeah.
This is one of my little interesting topics. So you've got Dumb Ways to Die. 4 words.
Okay.
So you got dumb and die. Both start with D.
It's got a little alliteration going on there.
So from call it memory input, like the more simple it is for something to retrieve. So even if you just go dumb, dumb ways to die, you've got D. It's a very easy sentence to recall.
Yeah.
It's hard to get wrong. Is there any tricks, tips, or hacks that you've found over your years for any phrases or any correlations you've seen?
No, that's interesting. I'll have to dive into it. But if you just think about the mnemonics literature, you're right. Anytime you have alliteration like that, the same letter that appears again and again and again, easier. Short words, easier than longer words. And if there's something elicited from those words. So if you can get somebody to if it elicits a very specific image, rhino on a skateboard. You say the words, you can't help but think of a rhino. It just elicits a very specific image. Then that's where you start to get what are called mnemonic boosts and memory starts to go up. So it's kind of, I'll dig deeper into it, but I think it's kind of what you're saying is the simpler, the more obvious, the more patterned, the easier those things become to remember.
Because overarching, if you're looking at weapons of influence, you got to get attention and it's got to be simple. And the more simple it is, the easier it is to recall, and especially from a retrieval process. So when you're looking at tags or any particular wording that you want to be consistent with, like dumb ways to die, you can't forget it. It's so as soon as you're at dumb, you can easily recall die.
Yeah.
We've got a client, Victory Blinds, and they've got their jingles, Victory Blinds,
Victory,
1-3,
victory, curtains and blinds, 1-3-1-3-9.
But the reason that works is because you got the blinds and you got 9, and the way it's sung is blinds and 9. There's a really nice mnemonic there. So there's ways and means that we can look at updating that because it's a phone number. But without that rhyme, it would never. It's easy. It's easy because it's a prompt. It's an easy structure. You go, as soon as you start the end bit, then I'm horrible at remembering lyrics. I'm the worst person on the planet at remembering song lyrics. The only ones I do remember are the ones that rhyme.
Well, rhyming is an easy pattern, and you're right. It's an associative pattern. Once you get one thing, you should be able to pull up the next thing. So there's where 131008 Silvertop taxis. Why wait? That's it. They didn't just say Silvertop taxis. They rhymed the 8. So now you know, okay, wait a second. I know there's going to be the word wait. There's got to be 8. And then the whole thing just kind of builds itself around that association.
Easy. So in short, it's easy to predict as soon as you've got that front cue, it's easy to predict what the rest will be because it's
it builds it's memory associations. If it's a closer association, which a rhyme always is, congratulations, you're going to make it a lot easier for people. I'm trying to think of what would be a bad example. Can you think of a bad motto or a bad slogan?
No, because I've got a horrible memory. I had a brain tumor when I was 18. I've got short-term memory loss still to this day. So my memory is atrocious. That's why it's got to be super simple or it's just out.
Keep it tight. Well, that's our goal. Between now and next time, we want to look for a bad mottos or remember, like bring them in and say, hey, here's a few that just didn't pass mustard. And we'll just collect them. While you're watching TV, write them down.
Mate, I'll do that. I think there'll be numbers, there'll be dozens, there'll be thousands of examples because I think there's a few doing well. But Dr. J, thank you for your time and your input.
Thank you.
Go Tigers.
You all. Go about your merry business and keep on marketing.